Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, go ahead and hit the like button and drop a comment on our latest video, which is coming to you from episode 113, streaming right now on your favorite platform. In this clip, the Dolphins come back from the bye week with a huge victory at home against the Texans, but they lose a key offensive lineman in the process. And including OnlyFans. You know, we had OnlyFans on Sunday night drop.
Every time I tell people I'm recording an OnlyFans, they double take, dog.
We need that sponsorship already, dog. Like, hit us up.
Wait, you got an OnlyFans? I'm like, it's not like that. It's with a PH. It's a Dolphins post game show where we go in after the Dolphins game and we break down the game.
Imagine me trying to explain the name of the show to my mom, because obviously, you know, she wants to see it. She subscribed to the channel.
Does your mom know what OnlyFans, the real OnlyFans is?
No idea. So it was just like nice to explain it to her without her knowing what it's really, you know, I don't want to say coming from, but like, what was the inspiration behind it?
Solamente los fanáticos.
Solamente los fanáticos de los Dolphins,
de
right?
Los Dolphins.
Solamente los fanáticos de los Dolphins. And, you know, we're definitely bought into this season. It's going way better than expected, and
8-3, baby.
8-3, you know, and we get an important victory against Houston.
Must have.
At this point, every game is important to win because it's a matter of staying where we're at, keeping the pace.
And where would that be? So where are we currently?
Currently number 2 in the entire AFC, and more importantly, still leading the AFC East division.
Oh, wow. Over the Buffalo Bills?
Correct. And the New York Jets, right?
Yeah, I could have told you that. But the Bills, man, come on.
Yeah,
they're struggling.
That's not what we foresaw this year. What we saw is like, hey, we need to catch up to the Bills. We need to be like right behind them, one game behind, pushing them for the division so that we can get into that wild card spot with no problem. And then the way that things have turned out this season, it's really been explosive for this Dolphins team. And now we find ourselves in a position where we're the hunted, not the hunters.
Sure.
Which is wild. It's wild, dog. The only team we're really looking at and saying, yeah, they're clearly ahead of us is the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's because they have an amazing quarterback, right? They have probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now in Patrick Mahomes. But
yeah, well, you could argue Tua might be the best quarterback on paper if you consider the 3 games he missed and what he's done in the games that he has played and what he potentially could have done in the 3 games that he did miss. You know, you can make an argument for Tua, bro. You know me, the delusional Dolphins coming in hot.
No, you can definitely make an argument for this year. The only difference is that
you're talking about historically.
When you look at the
Super Bowl winning quarterback,
no, not
Patrick
even that.
Mahomes.
Just you look at the resume, you're like, yeah, this guy has accomplished a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And Tua's on his way, especially showing that this year. They go out and get an important victory. You know. All things considered, right? We're playing a Houston team who's 1-8. They're struggling. They switch quarterbacks, and we didn't know what to expect, but we went out there and dominated them in the first half. Everything that we've wanted to see from this team was on point. Special teams.
Had a defensive touchdown. I called that.
Yeah, for sure. Defensive touchdown. Had 2 turnovers in the first half, right? Including 1 defensive touchdown. 2 field goals made by Jason Sanders, over 40 yards. Important to see him get him, back into that rhythm.
Yep.
And we even got a touchdown from our main man Tua, and a touchdown to Jeff Wilson in a run.
Rushing touchdown.
So like everything,
a little bit of everything. Everything was clicking.
Complete performance. And then one thing happened that changed the whole entire game. Right before the half,
5 minutes left or something like that, right?
Correct.
4 or 5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, man. Right before the half, we lose our guy, bro. And we lose Teron Armstead to a pectoral injury. We don't know the
severity or the extent. What I've been seeing in the Twitter sphere is that it's a strain, not a tear, which is ideal. Ideally he doesn't get hurt at all, right?
Come on.
But like, if you're going to have to, the lesser of 2 evils, right? If he's torn, he's out for the season.
Yeah.
But if it's a strain, he could be, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I'm thinking something like that. 2 to 4 weeks.
I mean, everything that I heard was 4 weeks minimum, 3 weeks minimum, and that also depends on how much can he withstand the pain as well, right? Because that shit's still gonna hurt 5 weeks later. Whether you take the shot or not, bro. Hey, dog, you could take the shot a million times. You're still gonna feel that shit when another human being who's not hurt trying to break your arm is going in there full speed. You're gonna feel that.
We want him to be healthy above all, anyway. So we don't want to risk him. But it doesn't bode well considering the upcoming schedule that we have, and I know we'll get into that. But before we do, I just wanted to shout you out.
Yes, sir.
You had the score for this game at 31-10.
Yes, sir.
The final score was 30-15.
And you know, realistically, it could have been that 10 because we gave up two touchdowns, and I was like, yo, one of them, whatever. But the second one was like, all right, they earned it. They earned their touchdown.
But going back now to my prediction, I had 45-9.
Just off a little bit.
But in my defense, this is where I got to defend myself here. We put up 30, dog, in the first half.
We did.
We were if Tehran doesn't go out and Tua stays in the game, we potentially go up another score. Maybe we pull them then, but you know, if Tehran's still in the game, it can change things for Skylar Thompson
for sure.
You know, coming in, I think that we still maybe our defense doesn't give up that, you know, those 2 touchdowns in the second half or whatever. I don't know, man. I think it could have very well been possible that 45-9 wasn't too far out, but I wanted to shout you out. 31-10 was your prediction. You weren't too far off. 30-15 was the final score.
I told you we're gonna start keeping them now.
But you asked me, where are you getting all these extra points from? I said, dude, we're gonna get a defensive touchdown. That was one of the things, and we did that because against the Texans D, you know, you're always talking about that we got to win the turnover differential.
Have to,
and we absolutely do. But with a team like the Texans, like, all right, we absolutely have to. They don't have a great quarterback. They have a good running back, but their O-line sucks. They're undercoached. Like, we got to be able to get a pick or a fumble or something, and we did both.
No, for sure. And look, 5 turnovers on the day. That's a great defensive performance, you know, and that's kind of like what I've wanted to see from the defense because we know that their talent is there. Granted, we're dealing with injuries or have been dealing with injuries on the defensive side, but it shouldn't matter. You know, there's enough guys there that are good enough to make plays. At least I take that back. There are guys there on this defense right now who are way better than good enough, that are excellent, that are probably Pro Bowl players. But they need to continue to play at a high level or at the highest level in order to make it easier for the guys who aren't at a Pro Bowl level, who are just trying to do their best they can because they're the 5th string guy, 4th string guy, 6th string guy. You know what I mean? Which is not fair to those guys as well, right?
No, absolutely not. But I'm not even anywhere near concerned with that defense. The defense and Boyer, I mean, there's been times where we've been like, man, what's going on here? But overall, they do make the plays when we need them to. What I'm more concerned with is obviously Armstead. We just talked about it, possibly out 2 to 4 weeks. But we get Austin Jackson back for this game, and he goes out in this game
with the same type of injury, high ankle sprain.
Scary, dog. Because now it's like, all right, we're down 2 of our O linemen, our starting O linemen. One of them is our main one that we have said elevates the rest of the offensive line by doing his assignment properly. And now we got 3 tough road games, Papa.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
For me, like it is troubling to see the defense give up 15 points to Houston, right? Because they could have gave up more. The way that we relaxed and Houston was able to take advantage of that. We have to know, right? Or we have to be that type of defense that doesn't take their foot off the pedal because we can't afford it, right? It's not like we have everybody fully healthy where we want them to be. I just saw that, like, if you notice before the game, like, there are 6 guys missing on defense that are main contributors. Byron Jones, example number 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that shit kills us because we definitely need him, right? It's a lot easier to stay playing man the whole game if your guys can handle it. And we know that X can handle it. We know that Jones can handle it. We know that Holland can even handle it being back there as the safety, right?
Yeah, but all right. So I get what you're saying as far as letting up those points to them, but it's all relative because we got to think about what led to that. And what led to that was the fact that we didn't necessarily take our foot off the pedal, but we lost our starting offensive tackle, and then Tua got hit a few times, and it was not necessary. We don't need to do that when we're trying to battle for the rest of the season. We're up 30 points already, so we pull them out. Then the Texans end up scoring. They gain a little bit of momentum. Skylar Thompson in there's flustered. He can't gain any rhythm. The defense back out there again. We had a couple of 3-and-outs. Yeah. So when they don't get that break, I mean, it's a numbers game. It's going to happen. However, if Tua and Armstead complete that game, I don't think they score a single point, man. I think Tua dominates the clock with the offense, and then the defense is out there fresh every single possession and is able to shut them down. That
may be, dog. That may be. And it's 100%, you know, based on facts, right? Because we saw the level of play drop significantly, right? Entirely on the team when Armstead went down. It's almost like we came out of the halftime and we were just flat, and Houston had all of the energy and all of the momentum on their side. But it does worry me a little bit because that's a team that's struggling offensively, a quarterback that's just making his first start, and like, you know what I mean? Like, just the things that you should be taking advantage of, right? A 5 turnover day should include a shutout or 3 points, 6 points.
We won by double digits, so
we won by double digits against the worst team in the NFL. A team that was 1-8.
That's what you, at the end of the day,
now, I get it, but look.
That's what we were supposed to do, and we did that.
I understand that, but when the same thing, here's you know what was more impressive as far as the defense? When we held the Patriots to 7 points. That's been the only time that we've had a team under 10 points. The other time was against the Steelers, right? And I don't think that was the game that Tua played. No, that was the game that Tua came back, and the defense played great. But other than that, it's always been more than 10 points. We're the bend but don't break defense. And I feel like if we're going to make a serious playoff run, we can't be the bend but don't break defense, because eventually we will break. And then we're going to find ourselves in a shootout. And as much as we love our offense and we have trust and confidence in our offense, we don't know what it'll look like in the playoffs because we haven't seen it before. So this will be the first time expecting the same offense to continue to work. Now, to your point, if Armstead misses 4 or 5 weeks, how does the offense look then? What type of momentum do they have going into the playoffs or for the rest of the season? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, on paper, these games look easy, right? 49ers barely getting by and winning games. Chargers seem to be struggling, but find ways to win games. Bills are a scary ass game. They're a division rival. And then we got the Packers game, scary as hell facing Aaron Rodgers. And they've made it tough for other teams, but they look like they're struggling. Patriots game, that's always a toss up. And then we end the season with the Jets. It's going to be hard to gain momentum if this dude's not there on the offense. So I want the defense to get back to the level that it was at last year, where it was like, yo, we're pitching shutouts. And even if we're not pitching shutouts, you're not getting more than 10 points. It's a touchdown and a fucking 55-yard field goal that you made. Everything else, we're forcing punts. And we're giving more opportunities to the offense to make something happen, right? Because they're going to need more opportunities, especially if this dude is out. That shit is a bad injury. You know what I mean? Terrible. Like, and look, for everything that people were saying about Armstead, oh, this guy's get injury prone and shit like that. He hasn't had not 1 foot injury, and that was the major thing. Oh, turf, his toe, and all that shit. What I say about the grass? 0 issues with the grass, 0 issues with his knees. Guy's been ready to go. The only issues has been from the waist up. So I feel like he's definitely earned his pay this year. He's definitely balling, and that injury concerns me, bro. Way more than Austin Jackson.
Yeah, of course.
Way more than Austin Jackson and anything else on defense. You know what I mean? But you got to point out the positives as well. It can't be all negative. We're the only team in the NFL right now with a 5-game winning streak. Holla. You know, and it's crazy that it's been ever since Tua came back. So who knows what our record would have looked like in those 3 games had he been in there.
Possibly undefeated. I said it. I'll say it again.
But it wouldn't be crazy to be 9-2, right? It wouldn't be crazy to be 10-1.
It would be crazy if we were.
I mean,
undefeated,
no.
though.
If you look at the games,
it'd be kind of crazy.
But look at the games. The Bengals, we could have beat them.
Come on, dog.
Yeah, I get it.
If
for
there were
us.
11 games, we were 11-0. Would that not be crazy?
10-1. Even 10-1 is like, oh shit.
Even 10-1 would be wild.
Make plans for the Super Bowl. 10-1, dog.
8-3, dog. Like 8-3. When's the last time?
Great. It's great, but we can't get too
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. We have to take it week by week, and this week coming up is not gonna be.
I think they recognize that though. So I think if Armstead is out and we need to adjust, I think the number one thing that McDaniels and Tua adjust to is get the ball out of his hand quicker. Yeah. Why? Because I'm not gonna sit here and go run the ball, because we've been asking for that for 12 weeks, 11 games of ours. And we've gotten it, here and there. We've had a successful run game whenever we use it, but it's not like our backbone, right? It's not like our mainstay. Sure. And I don't think that's going to happen. So they're going to get the ball out. Okay, we need to get the ball out of Tua's hands a lot quickly than we have all season, because he's not going to have that time. And, even though we've seen him kind of, get that pressure and kind of assess it and go through his reads and be able to kind of step around the pocket and make a move, when Armstead wasn't there to block, the main guys or do his part, it just completely collapsed all the way. It was a domino effect. And instead of having one guy in his face, he would have 3 guys.
For sure.
And that's what we can't have.
Scary.
Because if he takes a couple hits, that game can get ugly quick.
I mean, even in the 3-and-out, I mentioned it on OnlyFans, right? Where I was like, my oh shit moment of the game was when Tua had that awkward landing when he got sacked in the first half, and I was like, oh shit, get up,
and then
you better get up.
And then he got sacked a few times in a row in the second half to start the second half. So that was like, that's unnecessary considering what's happened already this season. But
it is important to find some type of rhythm in the running game, bro. 13 carries for Wilson, another 6 for Myles Gaskin for some reason.
Well, because Raheem Mostert was out.
Yeah, so Mostert got hurt.
A running back,
and then that which gave those guys a total
actually looked pretty good.
56 yards, a total of 56 yards between those two. Not enough.
We don't use the run game, and we have backs when Mostert is healthy. You know that Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert 1-2 is nice. And it's interesting now that we have Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, and we have Mike McDaniels, and we're going to San Fran.
And look, the Niners are scary, bro. They're 4-1 at home now. That's a team that finds ways to win ugly, and they have a defense that pitches shutouts sometimes, or would only give up 3 points or only 10 points. You know what I mean? Like, that team in itself is a very formidable team because of the defense. Now, offensively, they're struggling, right? Jimmy G is not that guy. You know what I mean? Like, they're struggling. But look, in their last 4 games, they've given up 14 points, 16 points, 10 points, 0 points, and they've all been wins for them. So, yeah, like that's what the Niners stand on. They stand on defense, and being at home, it's going to be scary. It's going to be their 4th straight game at home. Not necessarily the best matchup for the Dolphins heading into this with our main offensive stud, right, on the O-line being out. It's just going to be big. And I'm wondering what's the condition of Tyreek Hill, right? Because he came out of the game with cramps and stuff like that. And granted, the game was already done, so there was no need to throw him back in there. But I want this team to be healthy. Kind of crazy that we had a little bit of injuries happen off of a bye week. Where we were playing consistently and guys were able to get through it with unscathed, let's say. Now, not so much.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Because I'm going to say we're going to win, but
for sure.
I feel like this is a game that we could very easily go in and lose like 28-13 or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising, right? If we talk about it, like, how good is the defense going to be for the Niners? Well, they've been playing great. I just mentioned the amount of points they've allowed, right?
Offensively, they have an arsenal. You got Christian McCaffrey at running back. You got Deebo Samuel and Ayuk. And you have George Kittle as your tight end, and you have that defense. I mean, it's like, it's a pretty good team
for sure. But on the defensive side of that, for us, we have guys who can match up well with those guys, right? We have plenty of guys who can force Jimmy G into turnovers and bad mistakes and bad throws. And then more importantly, we have guys who are going to be in that backfield that can cover. You know what I mean? We have Howard, Holland. They've been doing a great job back there. Kehu has been really improving this year. Keon Crossing has been impressing in moments. So
the coaching battle is going to be interesting as well.
That's going to be very interesting. And I feel like who's going to dominate the running game? That's the key to the game for me, dog. And I feel like
I think it's going to be them. They have one of the best old linemen in the game. He's healthy. McCaffrey's healthy.
Yeah,
they're going to dominate the run game. We don't run the ball like.
But you know what? I feel like McDaniel knowing all of that, I have a feeling that he's going to use that to his advantage. And he's going to put us in a position where we're able to focus on the run and really just go after it, right? That's why I have the Dolphins winning 21-12. I have them winning because I got a feeling that McDaniel is going to realize, all right, I don't have Armstead, so they're probably going to bring that pressure from that side. If I can run into it or throw screens into that, then I'll probably have the advantage at some point. If not, I can always run away and use my quarterback who can throw on either side to get away from that pressure and complete throws. So that's why I feel like the offensive matchup, the McDaniel has the advantage because, basically our offense has looked way better than the offense that the 49ers have. And it's not a diss on the talent that they have. You mentioned it. Debo's a beast. Ayuk's a beast. Now they got McCaffrey. He's tearing it up. The backup running back, what's the dude's name? It escapes me right now. Mitchell. Mitchell. He's been killing it. Elijah Mitchell been killing it. The only question mark for the 49ers is Jimmy G, And I feel like he's not that great. number one. And number two, the Dolphins can really throw a lot of different mixes to bring pressure. We're going to blitz the hell out of this guy and hope that he makes mistakes. I got the game 21-12.
I like it. I
Dolphins win.
like your prediction. I'm going to say the Dolphins win this one 24-20.
Interesting. 24-20.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
I don't got these guys scoring that many points, man. I don't know why, dog. Like, I respect to the Niners because they're a good team. Like I said, they've won 4 in a row, and they've looked impressive in those 4 games that they have won recently. But they've also played teams that are kind of like whatever, right? Like they beat the Rams, who are definitely playing at a subpar level. They beat the Chargers, who have, like I was explaining earlier, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, right? One week they look amazing, the other week they're barely winning a game. And then they beat the Cardinals, which is an impressive win, but I don't think they had Kyler Murray playing then. And then they just beat a terrible team in the Saints, 13-0, and they look like they could barely move on offense. The game was 13-0, a real NFL game, you know, like. I don't know. I don't know if the Niners have enough offensively to match up with what we can do.
We'll see.
And we'll probably hit big plays. It's not like we're going to dominate these guys offensively, but we'll just have that explosiveness where
Tyreek's been a little quiet.
He's due. Jalen Waddle's due. Like, let's see. Let's see what happens, man.